Welcome back to SOS. I'm BA. I always get, I start this thing up and I end up having to start over again because I start telling jokes or something. And then instead of sticking to what I was supposed to talk about, I start telling jokes and goofing off. And next thing you know, I'm like, wait a minute. Nah, let's just start. Then I end up deleting that part and then going back to this and play with my tomahawk. You better have your tomahawks ready. You might need these. You might need a tomahawk and few bows. I don't know how many of you have gotten stocked up on ammo or whatnot, right? Everybody's got issues with that. I have a few things that I want to talk about, and I've even had somebody say, it's a man, I know folks like the random, but some folks don't like the random. There's some folks that don't like, mixing up a conversation and all the different things on a person's mind. They would prefer that a person just stick to one topic and just keep going and going and going. Boring. Anyway, I like to break stuff up. And all the things that I talk about. Supplies. And there's a few things. I want to talk about this one, the first one on the list. The number one killer in the United States is suicide. I want to put that one out there first. It is the number one cause of death in the United States. All over the world, for that matter. So just keep that in the back of your mind before you start reading numbers and stuff. And veteran suicides is pretty high. So you be sure that you take a break from this stuff and pray or talk to a vet. All right, do something. If you have battle buddies, contact them and get in touch with them. Now is a great time to do that, especially with everything going on. It is a great time to contact those friends that you served with. It's a good time to do that. And if you are one of my friends that I've served with, then God bless you and yours. And you probably have my phone number, so you can probably just call. Anyways, but if you don't, just email me. Anyway, back to the topic here. If you gave up stuff, this is going to be, I'm going to have some serious stuff here, but if you gave up stuff, I quit smoking several months ago, and a lot of you already know that. It's probably been more than a year. I just haven't kept track. But if you quit smoking or drinking, I don't know why I was thinking about this yesterday while I was finishing up the bunny coop. And the bunny coop, well, it's bunny hoop house, right? And everybody has seen it. And I just did clear contractor plastic over the top of it. Changed that. I went and got the sheets of vinyl roofing type stuff for like a greenhouse. So basically, I've transformed the bunny hoop house that I've made out of PVC pipe into, well, it just kept its original stuff, and I ended up putting the roofing the clear roofing wavy stuff, right? I can't remember the exact name of it, but I got the vinyl version. Vinyls is a little bit cheaper than the other stuff. The other stuff's real expensive. It's like double the price. If it's $16 a sheet for 8 feet of the clear see-through, then you have to pay double that, right? It was like 34 or something. It was something stupid. I just glanced at the price. I was like, yep, that's a big number. I don't like that one. I want to go with that one. Anyway, but Drew had to help me. My daughter. The boy. Well, everybody just kind of gets distracted during these times. They get to run around and stuff. But one of my oldest kids helped me with the project. Wife's been working too much. Sippy, she's an ER nurse, and she hardly ever gets a day off, and she's always getting called in. And that kind of goes back to Halloween, and a lot of folks would say, "It was a man, you couldn't." I was like, "Where's the live stream?" I set the live stream up, and she's supposed to have the day off, but she ended up getting a very unfortunate phone call, and it was that a couple of nurses had COVID, and she's well, they were can you help us out here, because we're kind of shorthanded. So she just took one for the team and ran in, and that's kind of what happened. So I ended up trick-or-treating with the kids by myself. And most folks out there, it's like, I wish I know a lot of folks are converting to this work from home thing, but we cannot adapt to work from home. Not all of us. Some of us have to go do our jobs. It's mostly physical. So just keep that in mind for a lot of folks out there. But yeah, the daughter helped me out, and we got the bunny coop covered, and it's transformed. It looks like a greenhouse. I'll do kind of an update on that. I don't want to show it right now because I just want to kind of chat. But if you gave up some stuff, I was looking at like the price of everything it took to do all that, to build that from ground up, from the very beginning. I mean, I'm talking wire. I'm talking like your welder wire for the floor, because there's welder wire so they can't dig out. And then there's, we did some chicken wire along the way. We did welder wire covering the whole thing up. And the 2x4s and all that, the latches, brackets, everything to open and close the bunny coop. That all is everything I've spent just on the rabbits. Now we've got more rabbits, right? And if you wanted, that would be a food supply, right? So that being said, I was looking at like the cost, per month of an individual, back in the day when I was smoking, how many packs of cigarettes I would go through. And I just tallied that up, and I was like, daggum, that's like $180 or 200 and whatever, and if a person were to like have beer on the side or something like that, if you start tallying that stuff, like a 6-pack and it's like $10 or something, right? Tally that stuff up and figure out how much that stuff costs, because you could convert that type of spending into a project of that right there, self-sustaining kind of thing where, it is sort of self-sustaining because they mostly just eat. I could take grass from outside and give it to them. They'll eat it. Most of the stuff that we grow around the house, they'll eat. It doesn't matter. Any kind of, if it's green, they'll gobble it up. Carrots, heck, they even eat pumpkins. They eat weird stuff. I mean, I can't say. They eat watermelon. It's hilarious. All the kinds of different stuff that they actually will eat, enjoy, and be happy. And they're very self-sustaining. You don't really have to do much. Just add some water every now and then, and they're happy. I was thinking about that. I was like, dang, it's a lot of money saved. An individual out there could save and then take that money that they spent on all this harmful things that they were bringing into their body. And I'm not trying to be a hippie right now. I'm just telling you, because, it's my background, man. I mean, it's kind of where I come from, but most of you guys already know that already. But anyways, do something like that, flip it, turn it into that, boom. Same with the chickens, same with the chicken coops and everything. And, folks like, dang, he's got solar power and all that stuff. You could do that each month. And if things get better, like I said, being at a crossroads and you don't know what the next day is going to bring, it could either go far left, it could go far right, and it could go either direction down the middle there, right? And if you think about that, you have to be concerned about the little doodads like that. That wife hits the snooze button. She's so tired, man. She's so tired. But now she's programmed. It is hilarious. And I was just telling her that today. I wanted to go back to this real quick because she's been working so much. She remembers me deploying a lot. She remembers me leaving her and the kids behind, to do activity overseas and other weird events that I had to, you never know what you're going to get sucked into when you're in the military, right? Whatever kind of crazy event, some kind of safety stand around kind of thing or whatever they've got going on, junk in the bunk or something, right? Field day inspector. And you're the inspector. But anyway, you never know what it is. And I said, well, I was like, you remember how, I used to get up like 3 in the morning, every freaking day. It was 3 in the morning. It was like 3:30, 3 in the morning, something like that, just to get to, I called it work, right? I called it work. And I said, but it was a different setting. I told her I didn't have that option to hit the snooze button. I never hit the snooze button. And she'll hit the snooze button like 3 or 4 times, like beep, 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 and hits the snooze button. Beep, 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 hits the snooze button. She'll keep doing that crap. And I'm like, oh my goodness, just get out of bed. Oh, you're keeping me up, man. You're keeping me up. And she'll crawl out of bed like after like the 3rd or 4th freaking snooze button. And I said, and then today she gets out of bed and she's already roaming around. I could hear the rooster outside crowing and everything. I was like, is she late for work or something? Something ain't right. And I get up, and, hey, what's up with you? And she says, I just woke up at the time before my alarm went off. And she said, I don't know what it was. She just got up. I said, you're getting programmed now. And you've been doing this every single day now. So it's gotten bad. See, used to, she'd have some days off, but now it's like she's working like every day now. But now she's programmed. She's just getting up. She's a freaking trooper now. And I told her, I said, well, so for me, it wasn't, so much the programming part is there's always consequences. For being in the military, you get consequences if you're late for work. We're going to go see the sergeant major right now. Oh, great. You never know what's going to happen to you. Say, NJP, fool, you're going to get busted down. But the consequence, you can't just call, like for her, she could say, she could call work and say her car exploded. There was a dead moose in the road and she had to give it mouth to mouth. There's all kinds of weird stuff she could call and say, and it'd be like, oh, okay, don't worry about it. She got abducted by aliens. But if I called, then they would investigate. They call freaking Dana Scully and Agent Mueller and all that stuff. They call them, and I'd be in some big trouble. And there'd be like a full scale investigation as to why I was late for work and all that. I said, it just isn't the same. I said, mostly it's a fear thing for a Marine or, soldier, or it doesn't matter what branch you were in, sailor, airman, whatever. But it doesn't matter. The thing is that if you called in, there'd be consequences, right? And you don't want to deal with the consequences. I was just thinking about that. Wanted to share. I know, right? It's so random. It's all right. This fool's random. Still got my tomahawk. Never know who could walk through the door. Got to nail it, right? I was building atlatls. I got a video coming up before I get off here in a few. I got one more thing I want to talk about. But yeah, it's take down atlatls, duct tape fletchings. I did a video. It's the $5 bow. Yep. I think that's what it was called. The $5 bow. Step 1 survival. Look that up. Anyways, but I did atlatls. Got my tip. Boom. And you connect. And I'll show how I do all this. Boom. Just like that. Boom. Look at that. And those are hardened. I took them and you can see they're brazed. Yeah. You see they have a little brazing on them. But yeah, I heat them up and dipped them in oil. I get crazy right here. Yeah. 600, what was it, 600 degrees or something? Is when he starts to lose his temper. Anyways, I lose my temper at a much different rate than that. Anyway, not that kind of temper. All right. Here's another one right here. Did white fins. Anyways, I know some of you out there will dig that. And I'm finishing up the atlatl, and we're going to do some atlatling. But I had atlatl darts with the atlatl. But the wind, I'm sorry I'm saying but so much. The wind came in very vigorously and took down a couple of targets that were for archery. And so I have to go out this morning and repair them. And then I can finally make the video. I did all this time making the stuff. And now I just have to make the video. But I have to go repair the targets. How many of you, I know, another one. How many of you are going to head out to get last minute items? How many of you are worried about tomorrow or the election or anything or the future civil unrest or whatever possibilities, if we get invaded by Martians or something, right? Does not matter what could happen. I know a lot of folks are saying there's a possibility of an EMP. There's some weird stuff being spit out there. But just, if you're thinking, I'm pretty sure there's a few folks, you're not alone. And they'll probably make time in their day-to-day to go out, or tomorrow, and could be the 4th, right? And because I think there's going to be a lot of ballot counting. It's going to take a while, okay? It's not going to happen immediately. But with these wild numbers that they're spitting out, I think a lot of folks are pretty concerned and they want to go out and get last minute items. Like I said before, during all the live streams, I said, make a list. You need to make a freaking list. It's just like a grocery shopping list, but think about the survival aspect of things. You need to figure out what last minute items you might want to do or learn, but don't break the bank. Don't go bankrupt over it. It's not worth it. Just, make sure you get the items that you need, and it's food preparations and stuff. Someone was asking how to get, saying a lot of folks are out of freeze-dried foods. They're saying that they're out of your meals ready to eat, like your MREs. I got some, like, hang on, tilted up, like up there. I got a few cases of them. But your MREs and stuff like that, hey, that stuff's great and all. But sometimes MREs are not the answer. Freeze-dried foods sometimes are not the answer, because it goes back to food fatigue. You've got to think about that. It's good to have them for long-term storage, but in an event that there's a crisis situation where it could last a few months, you do not want to be eating MREs and freeze-dried food for that few months of disaster. You want some food. And if you've got kids, they're going to want food. They're going to want mac and cheese and all that stuff. And you're not going to be able to feed them some of the stuff that's in those MREs. And standard MREs are not good for a kid at all, because you have to get the low sodium kind, which I have up there. They're the clear, or they're in the clear bag. They're low sodium. They're for senior citizens and kids. And it's a different type of MRE. It's still MREs, but it's just a different type. It's low sodium version. And usually those are used in FEMA aid and stuff like that, or when you see Marines jumping out of helicopters and dropping off food aid and support, and that's usually the type of MREs they bring along. They usually bring a backup set of those, because they're not just handing out MREs because the clog up rates, right? I'm just throwing it out there. They'll clog you up, and you won't poop for weeks. But a lot of people don't believe me on this. Some folks say, I'll poop fine. Everybody has unconfirmed arguments out there. You're full of it. Just stop, But yeah, you'll get a lot of that trash. Like, come on, man. Like, everyone I knew got the plugged up. But the rest of them, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's the thing. People just, whatever. But here's the thing. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend just buying some food. Go to the grocery store. Don't get haggled with the price stuff. Get what you need, and just get a few items on the shelf to last a couple of months for the meantime. Last minute items, and there might be some stuff you need. Or you want. Some folks get concerned about running out of milk. It's usually the thing. It's like usually running out of milk or something. They end up putting milk in the freezer. But you could put milk in the freezer. It'll last just fine. It doesn't last very long once you take it out of the freezer. I wasn't going to get into food storage stuff, but I'm like, man, I've eaten peanut butter that's like a whole 2 years past its expiration date. I've done some pretty wacky stuff around here. I've eaten some pretty crazy stuff. But just last minute food items is important. Canning food items is almost not going to happen this year. A lot of it's gone. Reloading, gone. Most of it's gone. Ammo's gone. So what do you do then? Alternatives. So while you're out, you get weapons of opportunity. You're not going to be focused on, you'll get beans, but you won't get bullets. But you still need to get Band-Aids. You might get a bow. I heard Walmart's going to go back to selling guns and ammo, and I thought that was the craziest thing. After all the craziness, Walmart's going to go back to selling guns and ammo again. And they took them down because of the the fear of the civil unrest type thing, but it's more like they just made an announcement. Hey, everybody, we got our guns and ammo back on the shelf. Good. We'll know where to come loot. And you know what I mean? You just gave an announcement. Why would you do that? Probably lost a lot of money. That's the reason why they're going back to it. There's so many different little tiny topics that I wanted to talk about that's important. But, you know, I'll get to them when we do our next live stream. A lot of this stuff I try to write down before I get started. My wife says most of the nurses that she works with, they say the goofiest stuff like, what would you rather catch? Would you rather catch C. diff or COVID? It's like every one of the nurses say, oh, I'd rather catch COVID than C. diff. That's awful. But there's just some things, like most folks don't know what any of this stuff is, but it's just pretty funny to hear what the nurses say when they all do this crazy stuff. Day after day after day after day. Anyway. But anyways, I guess that's all I got for now. I'll leave you guys. I got a short little flick. I'll probably put it at the beginning. Yeah, I'll do that. All right. God bless you guys. See you guys again. And like I said, just be safe, be careful, and look after one another. Stay sane. God bless. Take care.